Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we do the digital archaeology on stacks of new research so you can get the insights you need without, all the overload.
Yeah.
Today, our mission is to really dig into the 2025 cyber threat landscape and, more importantly, try to map out the big strategic risks that are waiting for us in 2026.
And we've pulled together just a ton of reports data from IBM, Verizon, Palo Alto, you name it. This isn't just about statistics. It's really a roadmap for anyone whose job is to keep data safe and maintain customer trust.
Right.
And this period, late 2025 into 2026, it's shaping up to be a genuinely seismic shift in risk. A lot of that is being driven by fully autonomous weaponized AI.
And the sources cover everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the financial cost of a breach, which is just astonishing, the attack vectors, and this new role AI is playing for, well, both sides.
Exactly, for offense and defense. And the single biggest theme that, connects all of these different sources is speed. It's all about speed. The entire threat life cycle is just accelerating. It's getting smarter, faster, and way more automated than any human team can track manually.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have to start with the dollar signs, just sheer cost of a compromise.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do, we really want to thank the company that's supporting this entire deep dive, www.breached.company. Their mission to improve security posture through proactive management and automation it's exactly the kind of strategic thinking these sources say is critical.
Absolutely, especially given the complexity and costs we are literally about to get into.
Okay, so let's look at that big headline number. The global average cost of a data breach. It actually saw a bit of a drop, down to $4.44 million in 2025. That's a 9% decrease. On the surface, that sounds pretty good.
It does, but it's the classic case of an average hiding a localized catastrophe.
Okay.
Because here's the aha moment. That global number would have been way lower if the United States hadn't seen its costs just surge by a staggering 9%.
9%.
Yeah, hitting an all-time regional high of $10.22 million per incident.
Wow.
And that surge is coming from, well, mainly two things. Increasingly aggressive regulatory fines and just the rising complex costs of detection and all the reporting you have to do after.
That is just a massive chasm between the U.S. and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So what are they even taking that carries that kind of price tag?
It's overwhelmingly personal data. I mean, more than half of all breaches, 53% to be precise, involve customer personal identifiable information, PII.
So Social Security numbers, emails, that kind of thing?
Exactly, the foundational stuff. Tax IDs, addresses, the works. And that costs about $160 per record to clean up. But what's really surprising is that intellectual property, or IP...
So source code or R&D plan.
Right, trade secrets. That's even costlier. It's clocking in at $178 per record that gets exposed.
When the price tag is that high, the speed of your response it just becomes everything.
Yeah.
So what does the data tell us about the timeline?
It tells us that every second counts. The mean time to identify and then contain a breach fell to 241 days in 2025. That's actually a 9-year low.
So we're getting faster.
We are. And that speed directly translates to massive savings. Organizations that got that whole life cycle under 200 days, they saw a 29% cost savings. That's $1.14 million they just avoided spending.
That's incredible.
And what's fascinating is who finds the breach first. When the internal security team finds it, the average cost drops to about $4.18 million. But when the attacker is the one to disclose it, with a ransom note, the cost just soars to $5.08 million.
So finding it and fixing it yourself fast is basically $1 million strategy right there. Okay, so what's driving these costs up? What are the biggest factors?
On the increasing side, the sources all point to the same thing. Supply chain breaches, really complex security systems, and a big one, the security skills shortage.
Right.
That shortage alone can add over $170,000 to the cost of a breach. And there's a newer factor the reports are calling shadow AI.
Wait, shadow AI. We've all heard of shadow IT, but what does that mean in this context?
So shadow AI is when employees use unsanctioned external AI tools, like, say, a personal ChatGPT account, to process sensitive internal work documents.
Oh, I see. They're just trying to get their work done faster.
Exactly. But it completely bypasses all corporate security and data oversight. The organization is just blind to where its confidential data is going or how it's being analyzed by these external models. It just dramatically increases the risk of data leakage.
That makes total sense. And on the flip side, what's helping bring costs down?
Well, the things that are working are pretty clear. DevSecOps, using AI and machine learning for security insights, zero trust architecture, and, proactive employee training.
So smart investments in defense really do pay off.
Yeah, the numbers are just crystal clear on this. Investment in automation and strategy, it works.
That brings us right to this AI paradox that seems to be shaping 2026. The attackers are using it, but defenders, they need it even more just to keep up.
Absolutely. Let's look at the offensive side. In 2025, about 1 in 6 breaches involved some form of AI-driven attack. Attackers are using generative tools to create these hyper-personalized social engineering campaigns.
So better phishing emails.
Much better. AI-generated phishing makes up 37% of these cases, and terrifyingly, deepfakes are involved in 35%. They can craft stuff that looks, sounds, and just feels perfectly authentic.
The speed of that. I mean, it seems impossible for a human team to even try to match.
It is impossible. And that's why AI defense is, well, it's non-negotiable. Organizations with extensive security AI and automation contain breaches 80 days faster.
80 days faster.
And they saw average cost savings of nearly $1.9 million. You just can't match machine speed with human speed.
And that necessity for automation is exactly what our sponsor, www.breach.company, focuses on helping organizations automate their security posture management. That ability to cut 80 days off a breach timeline, that's the difference between surviving an incident and, facing massive fines.
It absolutely is.
But looking ahead to 2026, the predictions seem to focus more on risks created by the technology itself.
That's right. The first big prediction is what they're calling the AI identity crisis.
Oh.
Identity is the main target because autonomous machine agents are expected to outnumber human users by an incredible 82-to-1 ratio.
82-to-1. So most of the users on your network won't be people.
Precisely. And flawless, real-time AI deepfakes, people are calling them CEO doppelgangers, will soon be indistinguishable from the real thing. Forgery becomes the ultimate key to access.
So the perimeter's gone, identity is the new perimeter, and now the identities themselves are suspect.
You got it. And that leads to prediction 2, the autonomous insider.
The insider threat, but it's a machine.
Exactly. These AI agents are always on and trusted with high-level access, so attackers will just compromise the agent itself, not the human, turning it into a silent, trusted vulnerability. This is going to require, dedicated AI firewalls just to manage traffic between machines.
And the third prediction sounds almost, insidious. It's about data integrity.
The data trust problem. Yeah, this one's scary. Attackers are moving upstream to focus on data poisoning.
What does that mean exactly?
It means they're invisibly corrupting the training data for AI models at the source. So if your AI model is trained on poisoned data, the model itself is compromised from the start. It can create hidden backdoors or cause malicious outcomes without any obvious sign of a breach.
And the last one involves the boardroom. Executive liability.
Yes, the new gavel. The prediction is that executives will start facing personal liability for what their rogue AI agents do, kind of like compliance rules in finance. This pushes AI governance from an IT checklist item to a critical board-level personal risk issue.
And most companies are not ready for that.
Not even close. The sources show only about 6% of organizations have an advanced AI security strategy in place right now.
Okay, we've talked about all these high-tech, machine speed threats, but we have to ground this in reality. The human element, it still dominates.
It absolutely does. Despite all the fancy tools, 60% of all breaches still involve a human, whether it's a simple mistake or a malicious act.
And the oldest trick in the book is still the most popular.
Still the most effective. Stolen credentials were used in 53% of all data breaches. It's the most common cause globally.
So beyond just stealing a password, how are they actually getting in?
The two top ways are neck and neck. Exploiting public-facing applications and using valid but stolen credentials. Both are responsible for about 30% of incidents. But the really critical thing to understand is the malware-free shift.
Right, you mentioned that. They're moving away from traditional malware.
Actively abandoning it. In 2024, 79% of detections were malware-free activity. That is a massive jump from 40% back in 2019. They aren't installing anything new. They're just using trusted tools already on the operating system to operate under the radar.
But ransomware is definitely not gone.
Oh, not at all. It was involved in 44% of breaches, with an average cost of $5.08 million. And while most victims refused to pay, critical infrastructure manufacturing, healthcare, energy, they saw a huge 34% surge in ransomware attacks.
Why them specifically?
They're often softer targets, and for them, disruption is a much higher value proposition than just stealing data. Shutting down a factory floor costs millions per hour.
And that fragility is often exploited through the supply chain.
Yes, the supply chain weakness. That was the second most prevalent attack vector at 15% of breaches and the second costliest at $4.91 million. We saw it with the Washington Post breach this year, which was actually tied back to their vendor, Oracle EBS.
It wasn't even them, it was a partner.
It was a third-party vulnerability that Oracle hadn't fixed, and it exposed everything from bank details to social security numbers for nearly 10,000 employees. Your perimeter is only as strong as your weakest partner.
This connects directly to the attacks on critical infrastructure, like the Ukrainian power grid attacks.
Yeah.
The goal there wasn't money, it was physical disruption.
Yeah, and those incidents are a terrifying blueprint. The 2015 attack started conventionally with spear phishing, but the payload, Black Energy 3, was destructive. They spied, harvested credentials, and ultimately bricked the serial to Ethernet converters at over 30 remote substations.
So they couldn't be controlled remotely anymore. They had to physically replace them.
Exactly. And the 2016 attack was even more sophisticated. It used crash override, malware designed specifically to open and close circuit breakers to cause prolonged chaos across the entire grid. The intent was purely physical impact.
Okay, so let's shift focus to timing. We're heading into a new year. Why do security teams need to be on high alert right now? I think it comes down to the holiday breach window.
That's it. That window runs from, say, mid-November to early January. Attack attempts typically jump 30% to 40% during this time.
Why then?
Because organizations are running on skeleton crews, there's less human oversight, and a lot of security teams do a patch freeze for stability, which means they delay fixing critical vulnerabilities for weeks.
And that lull lets attackers do their homework, which leads to what you call the January disclosure trend.
Exactly. They use December for deep reconnaissance and staging attacks. Then, when the full staff returns in January and does log reviews, they find all the serious incidents that were kicked off during that quiet period.
We all remember Log4j.
Oh, yeah. December 2021, almost half, 48% of cybersecurity pros reported sacrificing their holiday leave to fix that one vulnerability. That just shows you the human cost of that window.
And the e-commerce attack surface during the holidays is just enormous.
It's industrialized. Researchers found over 19,000 e-commerce-themed malicious domains registered. And worse, over 1.5 million login accounts for major e-commerce sites were harvested from Stealer logs.
So given all this complexity, all this speed, what actually works? What are the proven tactics organizations should prioritize?
Proactive planning is number one. You have to have an incident response plan, you have to run drills, especially assuming you'll have reduced staffing, and you have to update those plans. On the tech side, zero trust is a must. The sources show it reduced breach costs by $1.76 million.
And then there's the elephant in the room, post-quantum cryptography or PQC.
Yeah, that timeline is accelerating dramatically. It used to be seen as a 10-year problem, but now it's more like a 3-year imperative because of the harvest now, decrypt later threat.
So they're stealing encrypted data now, assuming they can break it later with quantum computers.
That's the bet. So if your data has a shelf life longer than 3 years, you should be moving to PQC now.
You know, we're talking about saving millions of dollars, but this data also shows we can save people from burnout just by structuring alerts better. I think we need to touch on the human cost of this.
It's a really serious issue. We know IT workers experience PTSD symptoms from constant alert fatigue. I mean, think about having an on-call ringtone that literally triggers a panic response.
So how do you fix that?
It's not just tech, it's operational structure. On-call has to be for genuine emergencies only, and you need clear escalation policies.
Can you define those severity levels for us, like SEV1 versus SEV2?
Sure, SEV1 is catastrophic. Critical systems are down, it's high impact. It requires an immediate drop-everything response. SEV2 is still highly impactful, but you might have a little more breathing room, maybe a 15-minute response time.
And having those clear tiers prevents burnout.
It's a sanity check. It ensures that when the phone rings with a SEV1, it really is a critical emergency, and your team isn't constantly sacrificing their personal time for things that can wait.
Okay, so to bring this all together.
To synthesize the whole landscape, resilience in 2026 really means moving beyond the perimeter. Success means securing identity, both human and machine managing these new AI agents, and prioritizing speed through automation. The critical question isn't if an incident happens anymore, it's how quickly you can contain it.
So what does this all mean for you the listener. I think the biggest lesson from the 2025 data is that companies that are aggressively adopting technologies like AI and automation, they're not just defending better, they're saving millions of dollars and slashing their recovery time.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, maybe don't just focus on your human users. Think about how your organization handles its internal non-human identities, the autonomous agents, the bots. Are they as secure as your human employees? Especially when, the machines are about to outnumber the people 82 to 1. That's the 2026 challenge that is going to keep executives up at night.
It is.
And we want to thank www.breached.company one more time for providing resources and automation solutions that help organizations lower that risk profile and improve readiness in this incredibly fast-moving environment.
And thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
We'll see you on the next one.